All right, let's sync it. You say banana. Darby will say Deepak. I will say penny. Then you say shoes. Then Deepak will say ack. And I will say tail. And then we will clap. Okay. Are we ready?
I remember all the things we are going to say together.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Banana.
Deepak?
Darby, this is you say Deepak.
Is that not what I
We can't hear you.
Look at that! My microphone was muted. Smart. I'm.
Whoopsie.
All right, so I will reiterate. First,
Yes, please.
Banana will say banana. Okay, Deepak, you say D's. I will say
Nuts.
penny. Then banana shoes will say shoes. And then Deepak, you say pack. And then I'll say tail. And then we clap. Okay. All right, let's do this.
Let's do this. I'm feeling good about it. Banana.
Deepak.
Okay.
You ruined
it.
You're supposed to say D's.
D's.
I don't know how clear Mitchell could be about his expectations.
I know, right? Okay, let's do it again. All right, third time's a charm. All right, let's do this. Wiggle it out.
Okay. Banana.
D's.
Penny.
Shoes.
Pack.
Tail.
And now clap.
Hello, friends. This is Phil Montgomery, and you're listening to Tales to Inspire.
Big bada boom! The heroes of Operation American Defense were all present at the 4th inauguration of President Roosevelt, except for one, Omission. Where was a forgettable and forlorn member of the group? What disreputable deeds has he been involved with since the team has disbanded? Read on to find out.
As we open up this issue of Tales to Inspire, we see, Darby, why don't you tell us, what do we see drawn in this panel?
I think, alright, so what Cassandra sees is she is walking by this river. Blue waters, blue skies, walking along, and then sees this bright flash of white in the distance before feeling this wave of heat and force just rush up to where she is.
And as you feel this intense yet familiar rush of pressure and heat, you wake up. And then we turn the page. Now, in this panel, we have a little yellow box that says January 1945, the 4th inauguration of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And we see the White House covered in snow and ice, and we see a small group of people that have been bundled up in their coats, huddled tightly together, and we see the president himself being helped to the podium and standing up, grasping it with both hands and pulling himself towards the microphone, and he starts to speak and deliver his speech. And then in the next panel, we see the same composition drawn, the same position that FDR is drawn in, but we see like the crosshairs of a rifle drawn on his head. In the next panel, we are across the way on a building, some distance away from the White House. And we see this sniper rifle that has been laid down across the roof, pointed in that direction. And who do we see holding that sniper rifle?
You see a disheveled figure with a very loose and distorted t-shirt, kind of gazing through the lenses, breathing in and out, his hair covering up one of his eyes, as he carefully and methodically just kind of gets into the rhythm, getting ready to pull the trigger.
Okay. And Omission, as you are getting ready to pull the trigger, I think we have a little word bubble come in from the side of the panel.
If you shoot now, there's going to be a bird in the way.
Omission will blink. All right, how about now?
I just recommend packing it up and going home for today.
And Omission, you were alone on this roof.
Yeah.
And so I think, how do you react to this voice? A familiar voice.
Yeah, if it was anyone else, he would quickly proceed with the escape plan. But hearing her and knowing it's the only person who can ever come up to him and say his name, remembering him as he is, he'll sigh and just kind of put the cap back on to the end of the scope, protecting his lens, and will get up, dusting off his knees as he looks over to his friend.
And Darby, could you please describe this friend to us? How are you drawn?
Cassandra is a dark-haired woman. She has it kind of tied back into like a low bun. She's wearing kind of normal civvies clothes. Nothing too flashy, nothing too out of the ordinary. Just kind of like, if you were like, this is the average look of a person of this build, that's kind of what she's wearing, except for the fact that she has an eye patch over her left eye.
Okay. And eagle-eyed readers would be able to recognize this character as a person who started awake just a few panels before. And there's a little yellow box next to this character that says The Hush, a.k.a. Cassandra Cooper. Powers/abilities. Darby, would you like to tell us what does the text say for your powers and abilities?
Sure. It says that she has some pretty significant melee combat training, but also can nullify the abilities of others within a certain radius of herself.
Okay.
Omission wouldn't know about this new look that she's got.
Yeah, Omission. So you see your friend, the only person in the world that is aware of your existence when you are not in her direct line of sight. But she has an eye patch since the last time you saw her. And also, she's here on this rooftop with you while you're trying to assassinate the future president of the United States.
Yeah, I'm like, why are you here? Why now? What's wrong?
Well, let's just say you shooting the president is going to cause some issues down the line.
I assume you have another alternative. What are we going to do?
I need you to meet me somewhere. A few months from now. I know you're gonna have free time because she's just like thinks for a moment. Yeah, pretty much you're unemployed for the next while. So I know you've got the time, and if you really want to make the change to the world that I think you want to make, we can do it together.
All right, I'm in. Wherever you need me, I'll go. It's unfortunate about the job thing, but I could never keep a job, so that makes sense.
Such is the life, I suppose. But this job, this will be it's a big one.
All right. Can you give me any details now, or?
I think she'll at least drop the location of where they're meeting.
Yeah. So I think you hand him a piece of paper, and Omission, you clutch the piece of paper. And do y'all have any more words that you say to each other, or do we turn the page to that location?
Nothing from Omission. Yeah, it's just pretty much him packing up his stuff and figure out how to walk there.
Okay, so Omission, as you grab that piece of paper, we turn the page, and we see Omission holding open the paper, and there's an address written across it. And Darby, where have you told Omission to meet you?
I think it's a motel in a small town near the Manhattan Project.
Okay, so you unfurl this paper, you see a motel, and up in the corner we see Los Alamos, New Mexico, April 1945. And it's just this run-down motel. Omission, what do you do?
It's just a hotel.
It's worse. It's a motel.
He'll rub his eyes and his dust-covered hair and head over to the room that I hope is specified on the piece of paper. We'll give it a knock before attempting to pick it.
Okay. Is Cassandra in the room?
Yeah, Cassandra will just, you just hear a voice from inside going, "It's unlocked."
All right, I'll open it and come in. That's, I'm never going to get used to that.
Opening doors?
Someone on the other side realizing who I am and expecting me.
No. I can never forget someone like you.
Okay. What's the job?
I think on the walls you see like strings and like pieces of paper like nailed to the wall, just like corkboard with like stuff like pinned to it, like scribbled pieces of paper, just like all kinds of stuff.
All right. How long have you been in this motel room?
I haven't been here right now for a while, but I made a deal with the guy who runs this place to just leave this room untouched if I just give him money every month. So I've been here for like 2 days, but this stuff has been here for a little while.
All right, fair. So what is it that we're doing?
Making history. Or really unmaking history. It's complicated and also really simple.
All right, let's go with the simple version and make our way.
There's a secret project that the government is working on that will result in the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. And I need help stopping that project.
Alright, what's the nature of this project? What is it?
I don't quite understand. It's some level of science beyond my comprehension, but the results of this weapon are devastating.
Alright, I mean, if we're gonna do this, I assume we're gonna be thorough.
We'll probably have to destroy all the research that they have.
And kill whoever is leading the project.
Yes.
Alright. I'm in.
And that's why I called you.
It'll go over to the lots of notes and red yarn and start looking everything over.
I think, like, in between all these, like, notes, like, besides, like, oh, like, this is, like, a guard, like, this guard, like, this is the shift change, blah, 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 it'll be like, oh, Omission, look up here, like, this one in particular, it'll be, like, little handwritten, well, that's all handwritten, but, like, particularly, it's, like, circled, like, Omission, look here, and just, like, little stuff like that.
And like maybe the next couple of pages are these little vignettes where as they're planning for this, it almost looks like the two are just having like these very enthusiastic, exciting dates around town when they're really talking about like killing and infiltrating this project. But like for him, it's like the first time that he can communicate with someone. Like, you know, she's the only person that he can have a relationship with. Everyone else is it's just gone, as he's always forgotten. So
Yeah.
Pretending they're like a newlywed couple, like traveling around town, like
yeah.
being like, oh, look at these things, like, oh, look at this restaurant, it's so quaint, whatever.
Yeah, we're like going to a tool shop, like, oh man, we're gonna need pliers for our new house here, honey.
Oh yeah, we're building a homestead.
We need this shovel, a couple of body bags. The typical newlywed things. And I think like for Omission, he would definitely like, probably more so than any other time, be very probably overly thorough, just to pad on this time period as much as possible. Every time when it's like, okay, I think we're ready to go, but it's like, oh, hold on, I mean, there's this one scientist that we don't know their husband's aunt's name yet, and that might be relevant to the security of this mission, so let's figure that out first, and then I think we'll be ready to go. So just kind of like I guess several pages of him, like when we're almost about ready to go, just adding like one more thing that needs to be done.
And I think as those panels go on, you see the Hush get just like a little more anxious, a little more twitchy almost. Like she'll turn to a corner and like fiddle with her eye patch for a second and then put it back down before turning around. Okay, I promise you, it is very unnecessary, but if this makes you more comfortable going forward with the mission, then
yeah, I prefer to be thorough, as thorough as possible. I've been around sloppy individuals, and I don't. It's nice to be around someone who appreciates a well articulated and produced plan.
Cassandra, do you believe Omission when he tells you this?
I don't know. I think maybe the first couple times, but maybe like after the third time she will get a little suspicious. Is there like an equivalent of a insight check?
Yeah, like an insight roll. There isn't. There is a sneak around that Omission could roll, or we could just narratively say, like, hey, every time we've tried to, like, go do this mission, you have stopped us to look up some minute detail. So, like, what's going on?
Like it's probably plainly written on his face. I mean, he doesn't really have to lie much because people just forget him, so he just kind of inserts himself. He inserts himself into the narrative, and so being a part of a greater narrative, it's hard for him to hide some of his emotions. So I think whenever there is a time when it looks like the project is ready, like immediately, you know, what should be like an excited and enthusiastic time is more so for him, like his face just kind of grows apathetic, just plain and without any semblance of life in it.
So Cassandra, I think you noticed this.
It's been like, has it been like a couple days, or is this over the course of like?
I think it's safe to say it's been a couple of days.
Yeah, I would even like, I don't know if we could like venture into like a month, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she would start getting real antsy at a month.
Okay, so Omission has been stalling for almost a month's time, and I think we turn the page and we see your small, you know, twin-sized bed with a line of pillows down the middle, Omission on one side, Hush on the other, and you were both sleeping contentedly, and then all of a sudden, Hush, you start awake. Another nightmare having woken you up.
I think in this nightmare, it didn't stop at the heat and the force, but it kept going and flashed to months in the future where the time passing has left a toll on the body. Just hard to breathe, the coughing, the headaches, the hair falling out. She, you know, sits up, sweating, still seeing, still feeling like those last lingering emotions and feelings that vision gave her, just feeling those and just bolting to the bathroom to vomit.
Okay, so you rush to the restroom, close the door behind you, and you vomit. Omission, at what point of this did you wake up?
Yeah, I think he's always waking up, but this time he'll get up and knock on the door of the bathroom.
What?
Are you okay?
I think she'll get up, maybe her eye patch a little askew, and like rip open the door and just be like, no, I am not all right, Omission. It has been a month since we arrived here. I had damn near everything nailed down perfectly, and we have been stalling here for weeks. What is going on? I told you that this mission would change history, and you're sitting here, you're content to sit here and find out Joe Schmo's second cousin's sister-in-law? Like,
I'm sorry. I've been selfish. The only time I'm happy is when you're around, and I've been over in Europe, and I've been in the trenches, and I've sacrificed a lot to try to make this world, I guess, a little bit better. So I thought, hey, maybe the world can wait a little bit as I enjoy a little bit of something for myself.
I think she'll soften a little bit from what was very like pained anger. Give Omission a hug. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. I was just being selfish, and I think there's a lot of casualties in war, and this is an inevitability.
It's not selfish to want things that everybody should have. Someone who cares about them, someone who loves them, someone who remembers them when they're gone. It's... Omission, if we do this, it will change everything. It will change everything. And we can have more moments like these, but not in this horrible little motel. To be honest, the bugs are wearing on me.
I mean, it's still one of the better places I've been in the last couple of years.
But we're not going to stop being friends, and I'm not going to stop remembering you just because we do this mission. Besides, you're still fun employed, so...
That's fair. Alright, then. I think we're ready. We'll rest up and then head out once we have everything organized. But after this, I don't know, maybe let's go to Niagara Falls or someplace nice. And I've liked the story we've told the last couple of weeks. Maybe it doesn't have to be a story.
You want to fix up a homestead?
Yeah, with you.
I mean, I'm not very good at the whole building thing. I pushed papers mostly. After a while. I mean,
I'm not either. I guess what I'm saying is, we don't. If we wanted, we don't have to pretend that we're a young couple in love. We could, I don't know, try to see how it fits.
Usually Cassandra's pretty animated, right? She moves her hands a lot when she talks. While she thinks, she's usually fidgeting. And you just see, fully frozen and just cogs turning in her brain over what Omission just said.
That's something to look forward to, something to think about. But, we can make that decision when we fought the good fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Did you want me to hold your hair? Are you good?
It's all good. It's tricky with the eye patch. I'll be fine. Just
Omission, have you asked about the eye patch yet?
No. I think he's not a person to pry. I think he is just someone who just kind of let things go over him until the time is ready. So as curious as he is about the eye patch, he's happy in this moment, and if there is a time when she wants to share that burden, then he'll be more than happy to share it with her. But for now, he just wants to be here for her.
Okay.
And I think that night, when she eventually returns to the bed, he'll shift the pillows over and just, I guess, tentatively place, an arm on her shoulder and see if that's okay and fall asleep.
I think she lays there for a while, just staring at the ceiling, just going, huh. Human contact is nice.
Yeah, I think that's the end of the page is that tentative hand on shoulder, and both of them his eyes are closed, her eyes are open, but they're both thinking human contact. This is nice. This is real nice.
We see a thought bubble coming out of both of your heads.
Yeah,
one bubble above you.
Exactly.
The same thing. I love it. Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 17 of Tales to Inspire. I'm your host, David White. And happy spring to everybody. I hope that you are having a wonderful time, enjoying, hopefully, the sunny weather wherever you are. I know it's been super sunny for us this week, but it's been pretty windy and allergies are going haywire. So if you are someone who suffers from allergies like me, I hope that you are taking some medicine, getting out and enjoying the beautiful sunshine, getting some vitamin D, and taking care of yourself because you're important and we love you. Let's have a round of applause for our guest for this episode, Darby. Woo! Darby is so great. I am so thankful to have been introduced to her, and she's just great. I have so many nice things I could say about Darby, The Hush is a great addition to our story, and I cannot wait for you to see what The Hush and Omission get into in this episode and in the next episode. Darby, thank you for being on the show. Super great person, and who knows, maybe we'll have Darby back on the show in some other way. As you know, we are a Patreon-supported show, and all of our funds come from Patreon. It pays for our actors, our performers, our hosting fees, our sound effects and ambiance. It helps us produce this show to a quality that we are proud of. Unfortunately, we have fallen below our $400 a month goal. We are way below our $400 a month goal. Right now, we are at $250 a month, which is not a sustainable amount to pay our performers $5 for every hour they spend recording. So, I would like us to get back to that $400 a month goal. So, if you enjoy our show and you would like to support our cast and support our network, please click the link in the show notes, go to Patreon, and give any amount that you can, even if it's just $1, even if it's just $2, even if you want to go a little higher and go to $5. Any amount will help us get back to the $400 a month goal that we have. And that is it for our Patreon show notes today. I'm going out of town this weekend, so I'm making it really quick so that I can pack up and get on the road. But thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of this episode. So we turn the page from that scene, and we see kind of like a military base in a alpine mountainous region. We see some white barracks that are kind of clumped together, some smokestacks. There's this pond with these rectangular buildings arranged around it, and we just see this barbed wire fence trailing all the way around this base. And the top left it says Site Y, Los Alamos, New Mexico. And in the next panel, I think we see Omission and Hush trying to get into Site Y. How are y'all trying to get into Site Y?
So it's very much, if this is okay, Darby, I was thinking whoever you look closest to, we have you disguise as them, bringing a package into the building. And it's like this very tight steel package where Omission probably is just inside cramped, since he's just used to being like in these horrible places. Sweating and all that stuff, and so like you as the scientist will go inside with this new materials for the science department.
Like like you're crammed into like an oil drum, and she's like pushing you on a dolly.
Yeah. Basically,
Okay,
and like, there's probably like oil in it and everything, and he has like a tube to help him breathe off to the side. But if like someone checks it, they look in, and it's just like oil as he's like dipped into it.
Yeah, she's like, I think when they were doing the planning, she was like, okay, so we're basically gonna make this inner lid that's going to sit on top of you. So you're gonna have a lot less space than you normally would, but it has to be, because when they do the checks for the oil drums, they only go about like 4 inches down to make sure it's actually like liquid. So it's gonna be about a 6-inch dip in. So you're gonna be quite cramped. I'm gonna punch a couple tiny holes in the oil drum so you'll be able to breathe, and there might be some dripping down. I just as a heads up.
Yeah, it's probably like we have several plastic tubes going to the outside that he switches between to breathe.
Like double fisting, but for air.
So we see Hush with this dolly and this big, blue metal oil drum on the dolly. She's pushing it in. I think you have a lab coat on, and like we can see like an ID tag, but it's like not your name. And you're walking in, and I think we have a cutaway diagram of like inside the drum as you're walking, and we see Omission, and we see these multiple tubes like coming out different areas. He's just taking different huffs of air.
I wonder if she has her eye patch off, because I'm not imagining that a whole lot of people are just like
that was like probably the biggest hurdle.
Okay.
I think before they go in, she removes the eye patch and just sort of tucks it somewhere. And it's just like, okay, we're gonna have to do this part really fast to get you in. Like when they were talking about the plan, it's like, okay, we've got about 5 minutes to like wheel you in before the shift changes and before the other stuff happens. So
before I run out of oxygen,
you'll have oxygen for about 10 minutes, but that's not the part that I'm particularly worried about. You'll be fine.
All right, then we can make it quick.
Okay. As you take this eye patch off, Hush, what does your affected eye look like?
I think I don't know if you've ever seen like blue labradorite. It just it looks normal, just kind of dead on. But when because she kind of flicks her eyes a lot, she's like processing a lot of information all the time. You get this like sheer vision though of like blue just shooting across, like as if like her irises are normally brown, but for a moment as she's like looking around, you'll just see flashes of like blue across it.
Interesting. Okay, so Darby, I would like for you to roll a sneak around. So take 2d6 and add your maneuver to it. And Omission, you're in the barrel, but would there be any way for you to assist Hush in this roll?
Oh man, like my usual stuff, I would say yes, but I'm kind of cut off from my power right now.
Yeah.
So I think what I'll do is pull one of the tubes out, just so that there's a little bit of leaking oil to just kind of give a sense of urgency to the people who are outside. Like, we need to get this oil barrel like where it needs to go as soon as possible, so none of it spills out and it can be repaired or patched real quick.
Dope. So Mitchell, go ahead and mark 1 stress. Oh, Mitchell, also all of your stress from earlier is removed because it's been a significant amount of time, so your stress is gone.
But not conditions, right? You
do still have your conditions: afraid, angry, and insecure.
That tracks.
Yeah. But go ahead and mark 1 stress, and Darby, you get to add +1 to your roll. So Darby, go ahead and roll.
7.
A 7. Okay, so you're gonna do it, but one of these things happen, and you get to choose. So you must leave something behind or be discovered. They raise the alarm, and they know that you're there somewhere. Or there's something here that you didn't plan for. So, Darby, what complication happens as you're trying to wheel this barrel full of oil and omission into Project Manhattan?
Oh, man. I've got... Because I got 2. And I'm okay with...
Okay.
I like there is something here you didn't plan for. That's always a classic. But I'm wondering if she has to leave something behind, if she has to leave behind her eye patch.
Oh, the eye patch. Ooh.
Like forced to like it accidentally drops behind her or something, and it's like she doesn't have time to turn around and get it. There's other people coming. And so she's left without her aid. I don't know what or whatever spicy curveball you want to throw. Like,
no, I like you losing the eye patch. You want to roll with that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are pushing this barrel up. You get to like the check gate in the barbed wire fence. A guard stops you, and as you said, he kind of pops open that lid, sticks a finger down into the oil, swishes it around, and then takes it back out. He puts a lid back on. And he says, "As we were." And as you start walking, you hear a soft plop in the dirt behind you, and like you look over your shoulder and you see your eye patch just laying in the dirt. But then you see some more scientists, some more guards are walking up behind you. They start to step on your eye patch. You don't have time to go get it. You have to go on with that eye exposed and everything that you can see with that eye exposed. But you push Omission in the barrel into Site Y. And you keep walking to the tech building. And stuff here looks kind of hastily put together. Like it was not here a couple of years ago, but it has been built to be here now. And so you walk up to this building. It's kind of wood with these big windows. And I guess you like push Omission in through a back door. And I assume you need to get Omission out of this oil drum. So like you duck into like a utility closet or coat closet or something.
Very hurriedly is like pushing Omission into this closet because like it's been what 5 to 6 minutes with the eye exposed. She's like starting to like she's like keeps closing her eye, like blinking really hard with her left eye to try and get some sense of reprieve, but it's like starting to like
so I think you like duck into this utility closet and like I don't know, you like bang bang on the top of the drum to let Omission know he can come out. And like Omission, as you come out, I think Cassandra's like over in the corner just kind of holding her eye like strained and in pain, like she has some sort of headache or eye ache or something.
Yeah, he'll he probably like in a little baggie in the barrel would have like a change of clothes and like a wet cloth and everything, so he can just like clean himself, change into a different pair of clothes, and then dump it into the barrel. So after like a few minutes, he'll come out looking fresh and shiny like a new penny ish. With his hair kind of back in a ponytail, looking like a doctor or like pretty much a doctor. And he'll be like, is everything all right? Any difficulties?
everything is going according to plan.
Was it the oil? Is that causing a headache?
Sure, it's the oil.
If something's the matter, you can tell me, you know.
It'll be fine. I just need a minute. She's just like hand over eye, just like both eyes closed, but like hand over eye, just like in the corner for like a minute.
Let's find you a bathroom then, and I guess you can freshen up before we head in.
So how do y'all proceed? What do y'all do now?
Making our way downtown, walking fast, just going down that hallway towards this section of the laboratory.
Okay. So you enter into this tech lab. There are tables that are strewn with mechanical devices and blueprints. You see all these other doctors in lab coats. Well, I guess I shouldn't say other doctors. You see all these actual doctors walking around in lab coats with their name tags on, similar to yours. And you're walking through looking for this gadget. And as you are exploring this area, you come to kind of the back of this building. And there is this huge tank, about 10 feet in diameter, 15 feet long. It's laid over on its side, and it looks like a giant grenade minus the pin. It is this huge clunky thing, and there are some doctors and not doctors. There are some scientists making modifications and messing with this, and Darby and Omission, you would both realize that this is the test bomb. But hush, as you look at it, your eye flares. And I think we have a panel no longer in this building, but we see like the iconic mushroom cloud plume with the red tinted skies and the mountains in the background. This famous image to us as readers, this famous image of the Trinity test that happened in New Mexico in 1945. And you have that vision of what this device is going to be used for. Do you have any physical reaction to having this vision?
I think you see Hush like double over and kind of clasp a hand. I'm trying not to move my hand in front of my own mouth as I'm talking. But clasp a hand over her mouth as she's like one hand on the mouth, one hand on the eye, as she's like kind of bent over. And then like probably like leans up against a wall for a second.
Yeah, Omission will kind of wrap his arms around her and fan her. Are we still able to do this?
We have to.
All right, just lean on me and let's do this.
She'll lean her right side on Omission, using her left eye to kind of cover her left hand to cover her left eye, not her left eye to cover her left hand.
And they'll kind of just start heading over to this contraption.
Start looking for things to like papers that might describe how this thing works.
A self-destruct button would be very convenient.
Maybe even occasionally like lifting her hand to just look at things to see if she could pull from her vision.
Okay. It sounds like y'all are wanting to make an examine move. So do you both want to make a separate examine move, or do one of you want to make the move and the other help with the...
You mean investigate?
Oh no, the move is called examine, but it would use the investigate.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. It would be
stat.
examine, but you use the investigate stat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down to roll, just because I've got a +2 to investigate. Not to be
Do
like...
it. I'll add a stress to help.
Okay, so you get a +1 to your roll.
Cowabunga. Okay. So close. 9.
A 9. Okay. So on a 9, you get to ask me a number of questions equal to your investigate. I will give you a straight answer or a solid lead, but I also get to choose one of these options. Your investigation exposes you to danger. The answers profoundly affect you. Or whoever or whatever you are asking the questions can ask you one question as well. So why don't you go ahead, you can ask me 2 questions because that is your investigate score. And I'm going to think of what diabolical thing I would like to happen.
What way can she set off this bomb that also won't kill, like, will also give them time to... Is there a way to set off this bomb that will give Hush and Omission enough time to run?
Yeah, that is a good question. Yeah, I definitely think you could, somewhere in this lab, there is a device that you could attach to, like a timer that you could attach to this and then start it, because the timer would be attached in the future, but it's not attached yet. So you would just have to find that and attach it to this, and then set the timer for however much time you think you need to escape.
I guess this kind of ties in with her ability, her visions of that she sees. If this bomb goes off, is this enough to stop the future that she has been seeing? Or does she need to do more?
Question. So yeah, I'm trying to think if Little Boy and Fat Man would also be here. I assume they would be.
They're right next to each other for ease.
Yeah.
I imagine she like mutters Little Boy and Fat Man as she's like looking at them, which maybe weren't written anywhere on their notes or anything. Just something she's like muttering.
Yes, I think... Would it be able to stop the future you have seen? I think the answer is yes. But as you are kind of peering with that eye into the future, you see the explosion from the gadget, triggering the explosion in Little Boy and in Fat Man. These 3 atomic bombs in this site. It would completely destroy this area. But then your view kind of pulls out to the city that you were just in, Los Alamos. It would also be destroyed. And you see other sites that would be affected around in New Mexico if you detonate this. So yes, it would avert the disaster you have seen, but it would create a whole new disaster that you had not planned on.
Yep.
And Darby, I think I'm going to activate that 7 through 9, and your investigation exposes you to danger, and I think that danger is you mark a condition. What condition do you think you mark based on this vision that you have had?
I think hopeless would probably be the best one. It's like she's done all this planning. She was so sure that, like, you know, she knew that this plan would stop it in its tracks. Like, because she would... I think what she ended up doing is that she would see this section, see that it's directly connected to, you know, what we see later in 1945 of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? Mm-hmm. But never saw the surrounding effects of what this would do. Like, just didn't... It never crossed her mind that there would be... Like, she's like, there's this test bomb, right? But didn't cross her mind that Fat Man and Little Boy would be there and trigger off of this. And like, oh, no, they built them already. If this goes off, then this branching reality that I thought we wouldn't be touching at all will come to pass. And I think she feels a little hopeless.
Okay, so go ahead and put that check mark right next to hopeless. Okay, so you have this vision and you get this information, and Omission, I think you are also shuffling through papers, looking at blueprints and things, and you find like a list of like names, like scientists that have contributed to this project. You of course see Oppenheimer's signature on a whole lot of things, but then on some devices you see a signature that is very familiar to you. You see a signature that says Dr. Leslie Liebholt, and Omission, that is Dr. Fusion, your teammate's civilian name.
Oh my gosh.
And you see his name pop up on some of these items and mechanics and systems that are being used in these 3 atomic bombs.
Like clutches the paper and like balls it up. Oh, I don't know what this means, but someone I worked with, they're a part of this.
She'll like grab a paper in the middle of just snapping out of just going, no, this can't not work. Just like grab a paper and like look at it. Is this a name that she's seen on her, like when her doing her investigating?
Ooh, have you seen Leslie Leapold's name? Yeah, I think so. With all the investigation stuff that you've done, I think you do recognize his name. But like, he's just a physicist. Of course, a physicist would be attached to this project. But if what Omission is saying is true, a superhero / physicist was attached to this project.
We need a different plan. We can't detonate this bomb.
Why not? We're here. We've made the sacrifice.
It'll just be here instead of there. It's just going to happen here instead, and we can't let it happen here. We can't let it happen anywhere.
If there's anything I've known in war is that if a small person, if a small group of people are going to make things right, then someone has to suffer. And we just hope that suffering is significantly less than the suffering that we're diverting it from.
No, I can't believe that. Cannot be true. I cannot believe that to be true. That cannot be true. There is a different way. There's a future. You just can't see it. We can make this happen. It doesn't have to be this way.
We're only 2 people. We're not going to get another chance to be in here. It's not guaranteed. He said you were going to go all the way, and we were going to complete this mission. We're here. It's right in front of us. We can do right, like you said.
We need to do it a different way. If we do it this way, then it's... all those people are gone. And you don't understand. The pain that causes is nothing like this world has ever seen before. This cannot ever happen.
If we are not able to complete this mission because we've backed out today, are you okay with the results?
And as Omission and Hush continue to argue down in the lab, we turn the page to see an office room with a wooden table littered with documents and manila folders. There's cigarette smoke hovering heavily in the air. There are men in suits and ties that are sitting around the table, their faces obscured by the smoke. Then we see a little text bubble that reads, "Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, sir." A man hangs up the phone. "That was Truman. We have the go-ahead to test. We will proceed with our previously scheduled test next month. Has the targeting committee selected our targets?" "We have, Colonel. We have selected 2 cities. One presents a topography in a densely populated area that will allow us to more accurately ascertain the destructive nature of the bomb. And there are no prisoners of war camps in that area, according to our most recent intel." "Correct. The other would present us with the ability to cripple the Japanese war machine." "Excellent. Well then, gentlemen, I'll go downstairs and have the final modifications made to the gadget, and then we can move forward with this project. Good luck to us all, and God bless America." Then down in the bottom corner of this panel, we see the words, "To be continued." End of episode. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Tales to Inspire. Next episode will be released on April 3rd. If you have social media, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter Like and follow us at Misconceptions Pod for up-to-date information about the show, behind-the-scenes pictures, and just to show us your general positive feelings about the show. We also have a Discord. You can click the link below to join our Discord so that you can chat with other friends of the show and chat with other cast members directly. We also have an email. If you would like to contact us that way, you can email us at misconceptionspod@gmail.com. This show is fully supported by the generous monthly donations of our patrons on Patreon. If you would like to join that elite group of supporters and gain access to exclusive content, please consider joining our Patreon. The Tales to Inspire theme song was composed by Esteban Del Pino. You can find out more about his music on fiverr.com/IAM_WAKE.
The special guest featured in this episode was Darby. You can find her on @ChaoticDarby on Twitter.
Omission was played by Mitchell Wallace, who can be found at Mitch Bustillos on Twitter. And I'm David White, your editor-in-chief. You can find me at Mr. Banana Socks on Twitter. The role-playing game system used in this production was a modified version of the Worlds in Peril role-playing game by Sam Joko Publishing, featuring elements from the Avatar Legends role-playing game and Masks, a New Generation role-playing game, both by Magpie Games. Tales to Inspire is a product of the Misconceptions Podcast Network. Find out more about our other shows and buy cool merch at misconceptionspod.com. And that's it for this week's episode of Tales to Inspire. Thank you so much for listening, and keep it nerdy, y'all.